Hi, I'm Sarah Gonzalez. Welcome to the news and why it matters. Glenn, what was the top story of the day for you?
Syria, with heavy emphasis on what the Russians were told by Russian TV last night.
I'll go with Paul Ryan.
Oh my gosh, you went there. Oh,
Paul, was that a question?
Yeah,
or
it kind of was.
Okay.
It kind of was. I'm questioning whether I should stick with it, but yes.
Pat.
I want to go with the un-American nature of the Facebook hearing.
President Trump's reaction to Syria and Russia.
All right. Glenn, I know that we have a clip of...
yeah, so let's start with this. Let's play the clip here of what the Russians saw. Okay, no hyperbole there, just a guy in front of a mushroom cloud. And in Russian, he does say, don't panic, but panic, we could be in full-fledged nuclear war.
Survival kit?
These are the things that you should have, and you should know where your closest fallout shelter is. Again, don't panic, just grab some cans of beans and head down to the subway. Okay? That's what was on state television. The comments from Russia to the West are all saying, look, you launch against the state of Syria and you hit things that we believe are unlawful hits, their airports, whatever. You hit the state apparatus. We will not only knock the missiles out of the sky, we will blow up the source of the missiles. So they are making a threat on the battle carriers, the group. That's not good. That's not good. And if you remember, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, Putin gave an interview with a bunch of reporters, and it was kind of an impromptu thing. He was sitting around a table, and he said, you Western reporters, you really still don't get it. We're at war. Your leaders will not recognize it. And they better recognize it soon, because we are at war now. Nobody picked that story up. I don't know if Putin is bluffing, but we might be sitting at a Cuban Missile Crisis, days in November and not even really recognize it. They are, we're not.
So you think we're close to that?
I don't know.
The president's tweet today was pretty powerful about that.
The president's tweet today was
we have that?
horrifying.
That might be the most significant tweet that he's tweeted since president.
That may be the tweet that we all, our children and our children's children, read about.
Yeah, and outside of the guy,
they're serious.
Outside of the guy who wanted the year's supply of Wendy's nuggets.
Right, that's very close. Very close. The second right there.
Yeah.
No, but then I started thinking about it this morning on the air, and I wondered, is this just the new way they communicate? If you remember, speaking of the Cuban Missile Crisis, and I don't know how accurate the movie was, the Kevin Costner movie with it, where
13 hours or
I think that was
13 days.
Yeah, where I think Bobby Kennedy said, you don't understand, this is just the new way that we're communicating. It's not like the old ways. Is this just the new way he communicates?
I want to put that tweet up. I know everyone has seen it by now.
I look at this as a threat from the president. This is what we're going to do, and we're at this.
I think,
is this just the new warning?
I don't know. Let's look at the threat. Russia vows to shoot down any and all missiles fired at Syria. Get ready, Russia.
That's a threat.
Because they'll be coming nice and new and smart. You shouldn't be partners with a gas-killing animal who kills his people and enjoys it.
Note the capitalization of gas-killing animal.
By the way, gas-killing animal was trending all morning.
I bet it was.
Really?
Okay, so, I mean, this to me is remarkable in its lack of presidential attitude. And that, to me, coupled with, and again, they may be bluffing, but coupled with state television preparing their people for nuclear war. And we're over here acting like it's a game. Hey, you better look in your sky tonight because it's coming. If indeed we make a mistake or they are serious about this and we are at war, I think we'll all regret not paying attention.
Well, and I would like to point out there is another tweet that we have from 2013 that if we could put up on the screen, that where he says, why do we keep broadcasting when we're going to attack Syria? Why can't we just be quiet and if we attack at all, catch them by surprise?
There's tons of those tweets from him, too.
I mean,
in this particular case, he's letting them know. They think that may have been why we didn't strike last night, because Russia was busy getting all of their equipment out, because we do not want to hit them, their soldiers, or any of their equipment.
Yeah, let's be clear. On the tweets, he's smarter in 2018 than he was in 2013. He had no idea what he was talking about in 2013. Right. Now he's got General Mattis out there saying, "Hey, make sure that they know this is potentially coming."
Right.
I think on the other side of this too, it's like we've talked about this for a while. People said that Trump was too light on Russia and he was too friendly with Russia. To me, the risk has always been if it turns around and goes the opposite way. One of the things that draws, I think, Trump and Putin together in some sort of mutual admiration society is they have very similar personalities. That's also what could make this blow up, because neither one of them is going to want to back down. They're both going to want to project strength at all times. And if this goes down the wrong road, it could get really ugly really fast. It's a lot more scary to me than if he got a few emails from WikiLeaks. Like this could get really ugly fast.
The difference between President Trump and President Obama is in control, and the military, right people around Donald Trump. I would much rather fight a war with Donald Trump because he'll fight to win it, where Obama wouldn't fight to win it. However, in a crazy period of time where emotions are running high, I would rather take the fallout of Obama than the possible actual fallout between something with Trump and Putin, where they're both caged animals.
Yeah. Earlier today, we heard what President Glenn would do and what President Stu would do, but I want to know what President Doc would do.
In this situation?
In this situation.
I think I would resign if I was him. Just go back to running his empire.
Okay.
I think that's
I'm going to need a better answer than that.
That's all I got for you there.
Yeah, what about President Pat?
I think, do you remember when we made fun of Iceland for their constitutional tweeting?
Yes.
Tweet us your ideas for your constitution. I don't think we have any room anymore to mock when we're tweeting out our war strategy on Twitter. I think you keep that kind of stuff to yourself. And if you need to tell the Russians...
What would you do?
I told them on back channels, look, we're going to hit you. Okay, so get your people out of the way. We're going to hit Syria, right? Isn't that how it's always been done? You speak
you would hit Syria. You would hit Syria.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would too. The problem is...
If the evidence is strong...
Yeah. We've got all of this we have to deal with now, which is right here. But the real problem is all of the foundation we've laid for so long. So you have to deal with this right now. Yes, I would hit him. And try to unravel or unwind all of that stuff. It's so messy.
And I think Pat is this way, and I think Stu has even come somewhere to this direction. Back in 2012, I was starting to go full-fledged libertarian, stay out of everything. And I haven't moved that far from that. Where I am, I'm almost a progressive libertarian. It's taken progressives 100 years to get us here. It might take libertarians 100 years to get us back. You can't create a power vacuum. You have to hit them now because America cannot just retreat. But I would make it very clear, hey, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, get off your asses because America is almost done with this. You have to do it and slowly retract.
Yeah. I want to move on to Paul Ryan's resignation.
Oof.
Paul Ryan?
Why does that matter? Seriously, the name of the show, why does this matter?
Why does it matter?
Oh, I thought there was a question mark at the end of that. Why does this matter?
You tell us, viewers.
It's an interesting life cycle here, as we see. Because, Paul Ryan, we kind of think of now as really being squishy and not so great. There was a time.
He was great.
In the mid-2000s, when he really was, there was a lot of hope there. He was introducing aggressive plans for really aggressive growth, shrinking government. The more power he got, the worse he got. And that is a lesson we can all learn. And the other part of it that I think does actually matter is, if you want to get something done, you're going to need the House, you're going to need the Senate. They currently have it. They're getting nothing done. There's now 38 resignations. 38 resignations by GOP people on their own choice. It's the highest number since 1930 for Republicans. They are running. Paul Ryan. He has a lot of reasons he articulated. I want to be with my family. I didn't really like this job. I don't really want to be a guy who was the speaker. I don't think he legitimately did want to be speaker. He would wind up taking it, but he never really pursued it before that. But the bigger reason is, he's probably going to be minority speaker. And I think he's smart enough to know that, am I going to sit through a really ugly, potentially ugly election and lose the House and then have to fight and yell at Nancy Pelosi from across the aisle as she controls the agenda? When he can step out here, he's still, speaker, and he can go do his private sector work and make lots of money.
And he's worth about $7 million.
He's already worth a lot. So
let me ask you this. Largest exodus of the Republicans since 1930. When did the Depression actually hit? 1933. So 29 it started to go down, but 33 was the real slam. Those guys got out in 1930 because they could see the writing on the wall. Isn't it interesting? With how we feel about the way the country and the globe and everything is starting to unravel, that these weasels would jump ship now because perhaps they see the writing on the wall.
Or they want to spend time with their families.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Paul
right.
Ryan, if he does one more term, his kids will only know him as a weekend father. Keep in mind, his kids are now, the youngest one, 14.
Right.
Really?
A couple of years ago, maybe. No.
It's just interesting, though, because a lot of people are like, oh, this is a Trump victory, where Trump is like, he's now the guy who's the ideological head of the party, which, may very well be true, though, I mean, really, the only thing that's been able to get really done since in the Trump presidency was the tax reform plan that was largely a Paul Ryan. Initiative. We talked about Gorsuch before, that really came from McConnell holding the line during the Obama presidency. I mean, Trump, to his credit, nominated what seems like a good justice, but still, it was really done in McConnell land. Outside of executive policy, which Trump we've highlighted many examples of it, there's been very little that has gone through the legislative branch anyway. So I don't know that the Ryan to anyone else is going to make much of a difference.
Right. So that's why I go back to, why does it matter?
Question mark. They're probably going to lose the House.
Well, right. And that's what I was going to say is what kind of message is it sending to Republican voters?
Frank Luntz came out a couple of days ago and said his research shows they're going to lose the House and the Senate.
Which that seems hard to believe. I mean, Frank is a lot smarter than I am on that stuff, but I mean, they have such an advantage when it comes to the Senate, with just the way the House, the seats are aligned of who's leaving.
Frank has called every election right personally. To me, I don't know what he said on the air, but I remember when he said Romney's not going to win. When he said Trump's going to win. I mean,
No, he's really smart. That's cataclysmic, though. I mean, it's like it's New England, Atlanta, third quarter, 28-3. Like they should have absolutely no chance of losing that election.
The good news for conservatives and libertarians, moving forward, the Republicans have Kevin McCarthy. So,
oh, sweet. There you go.
Done.
Okay, I want to take a break, and then we will talk Facebook when we come back. Let's talk Facebook. Pat, this was your top story, so why did this matter?
Because the government continues to become more and more intrusive in our lives and putting their face in where it doesn't belong, like Facebook. And the questioning of Mark Zuckerberg has been so ridiculous, including this particular question and answer.
Media companies hire consulting firms to help them figure out how to get more dopamine feedback loops so that people don't want to leave the platform?
No, Senator. That's not how we talk about this or how we set up our product teams. We want our products to be valuable to people, and if they're valuable, then people choose to use them.
Are you aware of other social media companies that do hire such consultants?
Not sitting here today.
People need to hard break from some of these tools and the things that you rely on. The short-term dopamine-driven feedback loops that we have created are destroying how society works. No civil discourse, no cooperation, misinformation, mistruth. Bad actors can now manipulate large swaths of people to do anything you want.
No, that's not true. I love Ben Sass. I think he's great. Yeah. He's a tremendous senator. But he's worried about dopamine feedback loops. Does it matter what they say in their marketing room about how they're trying to make everybody's trying to make their product more desirable. Everybody wants their clients hooked on their product. There's nobody at McDonald's saying, hey, what about a kale sandwich? Nobody's saying that because that's not going to create a dopamine feedback loop for you. They're going to spit it out and they're not going to come back. Everybody wants their product consumed and they want it consumed all the time. It's up to us how much we do it.
Yeah, personal
It's up to
responsibility.
us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I found it interesting because it seemed like this hearing was more about chastising him for his business decisions than anything else. Like, well, so why did you choose to buy Instagram?
It's none of your freaking business why I bought Instagram.
So how do you make money? How do you make money if you don't make users pay? We sell ads.
And I, for one, didn't like Timeline. Can we go back to the old format?
I have to tell you, I think this is what everybody's missing here is if you don't like it, A, stop using it.
Yep.
Well, I can't because of why?
You can.
You can. All of us can if we wanted to. Because the minute that grows into a movement, it's over for them. Mm-hmm. Also, there's got to be somebody out there, and there will be, that will create another Facebook thing, and it will make Facebook operate like MySpace. Yep. I am well read on technology.
Which, by the way, is why Facebook owns Instagram.
Yes.
Because they saw that writing on the wall.
But I will tell you that I'm well read on technology and the whole dopamine thing. They do intentionally build all kinds of bells and whistles and things to give you that high, to lock you in.
Of course.
And nobody knows it. That's the problem, is that you have to self-educate. We're handing our kids, we're talking now about gun control. How about Facebook control? How about internet control? You're handing your kids a loaded gun every day. When everybody would never do that with an actual gun, we're handing them the internet.
But the key is, stop handing it to them. If it's a problem for you and your family,
but you know what?
Stop giving it to them. Stop letting them.
It requires taking responsibility.
Right.
And nobody's willing to do that.
Right.
The hypocrisy of the senators and congressmen, though, sitting there, a lot of congressmen were out there saying, yes, Zuckerberg, whatever. We had Marsha Blackburn on today from Tennessee, attacking him when they are responsible for spying on American citizens. That's incredible. We still haven't gotten out of the FISA court and the NSA spying. So I asked Marsha Blackburn about a posting for a government. The government has a website where you can bid on jobs and things they need done, where they're looking for somebody to analyze and track people in the media and their influence. It's up on a government website right now. And she was like, well, I'm not aware of it. And I was like, well, we're going to send it to you. Maybe you look into it. Get back to us.
Send that to me. I'd like to apply for that job.
I would like to point out, I didn't see it on the CNN front page of the pro-life walkout was today. So I guess it didn't matter, right, Pat?
Anywhere.
No.
Yeah.
It must not matter.
I mean,
it wasn't anywhere.
I would love to give you an update on what happened with the walkout today. The pro-life walkout. But I have no idea because nobody covered it.
Although we
But
did.
you know what? I
The
will
Blaze
tell you.
covered it.
The Blaze.
The Blaze covered it, and we covered it on radio. I think it unfolded on our radio show. The problem with it was, it happened on our radio show. I got busy. I forgot about it, and I got in today, and I was like, okay, we got to remember April 11th. Well, that was today. Mm-hmm. So it shows what happens when a group of kids get together and do something without a giant machine behind them.
Let's be honest about it. This is the way it should be covered. If a group of kids have a walkout around the country, that doesn't need to be an international news story.
Right.
The way they
It's
did
just
it with
fascinating to
Parkland
see
is
it.
the problem. They just made these kids into celebrities and pushed it for an agenda the
Correct.
entire time, so everyone knew about it, but that was because of the media.
But I will tell you, I feel a little bad because, I feel like the Blaze covered it. I'm talking about us as a group of conservatives. Look what the left does.
Yeah.
And here's a group of kids that went out and stood for life.
But that didn't give us a dopamine feedback loop.
Right.
And
yeah.
so nobody cared.
That's a great point.
Nobody cared.
Stu, there is a little bit of an update on the information we have about the rating of Michael Cohen's office.
Yeah, kind of interesting. They talked about Stormy Daniels and, you're laughing at me, whatever the Playboy Playmate of the Year.
Karen McDougal,
those two. And they talked about his taxi medallion service, which I know we were all very interested in yesterday. New development, though, of what they were looking for when they went there, which was material related to the Access Hollywood tape. Now, what's interesting about that is mere hours after the Access Hollywood tape is released, WikiLeaks jumps into action and starts releasing the John Podesta emails. So, again, the accusation has been the whole time, were they coordinating with WikiLeaks, via WikiLeaks with Russia, to release these stolen emails? Well, just hours after that tape was released, that's when they came out. Now, most people, and I kind of was on this bandwagon of believing that WikiLeaks saw it come out, wanted Trump to win, and released it on their own. However, they obviously had some suspicion that perhaps there was coordination through Cohen.
If that's
interesting?
true, that's not good.
Again,
problematic.
Doesn't mean they got the information, but it means potentially they were thinking that it might be there. And if they do find something there, that obviously actually is a big story.
I thought it was amazing that what Cohen's response was to the FBI. Did you guys read that?
Yeah. That they were respectful.
Here's the biggest
polite
bad jerk you've ever met, and he's like, I thanked him afterwards.
I was blown away.
They were so polite. And they were really nice and professional. Like, wow, you are terrified.
So today, that story just got shadier. Is that where we're at? Okay.
Actually shadier than the porn star.
The porn star and the medallion
Playmate of the Year.
Well, that's actually just tied back to Russia.
Yeah, now you can kind of understand why they were looking, at least. I mean, they may not find anything, but that's seemingly why they were looking.
All right, we got to take a break. Stay with us. 2018. There is a school district in Pennsylvania that is arming its 500 teachers with baseball bats. Yeah. And they are really, really good-looking baseball bats. Yeah. Oh, wait, they're 16 inches.
Yeah. No, if gnomes come into the school.
Good shape.
Yeah.
If Nancy Kerrigan attacks, you're gonna.
Now, they're making a big deal saying they're arming their teachers with these, but then the superintendent said the bats are primarily symbolic. But they are now an option for teachers to use should they need to fight back in a shooting.
Okay, there's nothing better than symbolic safety. Just the symbol of the safety is enough for me. I feel pretty good about it.
I mean, and no one is going to want to attack a place with a symbol like that.
Right.
I was reading a little bit about what they were talking about. It actually seems like the school district is fairly sane, and that like they actually polled people about actually arming teachers with guns, and they actually want to take steps in that area. Like the people in the school district actually approved those sorts of measures, but like they're not ready to go yet. No. So this is like
so they're going for the symbol of safety.
Yeah. What was their plan B? The little paddles with the ball.
I just don't know what teacher is going to want to like go up to a shooter and hit them.
Yeah.
You think you want to try to stay away, but
doesn't seem safe.
This seems a little more.
Could be a very short Nolan Ryan.
We gotta go. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, I saw that where they did some sort of thing.